Carol Abram running under the AB Cardian team. He's back. Tony Elias been given a flick again. Yeah, well, Carol missed the...
Okay, so you've just watched MotoGP on the telly. You're all excited by it, you fancy a bit of that. You want to know how you can go road racing. But the first little bit that you look at on the internet, it makes it look complicated. It looks like a nightmare of bureaucracy. It isn't like that at all. It's very, very easy. At first glance, it can look like there's lots of hurdles in your way, but in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. There's loads of people out there that will help you do it. Here at ThundersportGB, we try and make that process as simple as we possibly can for you. So what we want to do is, if you are one of those people that's out there that's interested, want to see how far you can go in road racing, we want to talk you through that process. We want to go through all the bits of paper that on first glance can look very, very complicated, but we'll talk you through them piece by piece so that you don't make any mistakes, so that all of the fear factors taken out of it, and we can get you there, and eventually, within a matter of a few weeks, you could be sitting there on the grid ready to take the race start in your first ever race and fulfill your dreams. Okay, so it's very simple. The first thing that you need to do is you need to obtain an ACU competition licence for road racing. In order to do that, you need to get an ACU licence form. Now this form is an exercise in confusion on first glance, but it's there to cover multiple disciplines. When you first download the ACU licence form, do not be mistaken into thinking that you're looking at track racing. You're not track racing. Track racing is going round and round on grass track. You are actually interested in a road racing licence, and that's for closed circuit racing as well as public roads. Public roads comes much later. In order to fill this form out correctly, it's very, very simple, but as I say, at first glance it looks like an exercise in confusion, because this form is used for everybody from a brand new novice road racer right up to and including the lads that you've been watching on MotoGP. Bradley Smith has to fill out one of these every year, Cal Crutchlow has to fill out one of these, and Scott Redding has to fill out one of these. So it's a multi-purpose form. So the bits that you need to fill out, obviously first bit there, your name and address, because we need to know who you are. The next bit, the category of licence that you need. Now this is important. You're going to be a novice, but you've got two choices. You're either going to be a novice road racer or an intermediate novice road racer. The difference between those two categories is a novice road racer is restricted to an up to 600cc machine, whereas an intermediate novice road racer has no machine restrictions at all. The difference between the two is that as a novice road racer, you do not possess a DVLA Category A bike licence, unrestricted. If you want to be an intermediate novice, you have to have a DVLA road bike licence, unrestricted. Then you can ride whatever you want. You need to provide a copy of both sides of that and the paper part if you've still got one. I know most people now won't have the paper part anymore because it's been disbanded. Okay, so that's the bit that you fill in there. You're going to either fill in novice or intermediate novice road race rider. Page 2 of the same form, and all this information is also on our website under our Getting Started package. Section 3 is your medical information. This is a medical self-declaration. It's not a medical done by your doctor. You do not need a medical done by your doctor to obtain your first road racing licence, provided that you're fit and well. All of these are tick box yes and no. What we're actually trying to ascertain here is that if you have anything, any disability or any impediment that would affect your ability to go road racing. Answer these questions honestly, and you should be ticking the box that says that you've got 2 arms, 2 legs and a head all in the appropriate places. It asks for some historical information. The historical information on there is really for anything that's going to cause an impediment to you being able to go road racing on a motorbike. What we want to know is if you've got any injury that you're still carrying. Okay, so answer that all honestly. There's a little box at the bottom here if there's anything that you feel that you need to tell the ACU that might affect your ability to go road racing. If you have got any impediment, don't be worried about declaring it. It just means that it will have to go to the road race panel. But at the road race panel, we have actually, at ThundersportGB, we have actually enabled people who are paralysed from here down to go road racing. It's just that they need to go through a slightly different set of criteria before they can go road racing. Okay, so answer that honestly. Section 4 is your eyesight report. You need an eyesight report done by an optician, and that has to be within 6 months. If you've had an eyesight report done within the past 6 months, it's still valid. You need the certificate, it needs to be stamped, and it needs to be attached here. If not, you can book in at Specsavers or where other brands are available, obviously, and get your eyesight report done, get it stamped up there. The requirement is 6/6 in both eyes. We're interested in your binocular vision, not your individual eye-to-eye vision. So what we're interested in is, have you got good eyesight? 6/6 is effectively what you need to pass an ordinary DVLA road bike licence. Okay, that's page 2. Page 3, the medical report. This you need to ignore. You need to ignore this unless you are a disabled rider. This is only for international licence holders or riders that are over 60 years of age. Okay, so just ignore that bit. At the bottom here, very important, your declaration and acknowledgement of the risks of motorsport. Final page, you're coming on to where you sign for your declaration that you've read and understood all the terms of being allowed to have an ACU licence, and at the bottom here you've got a bit that says parents' permission. If you're under 18 years old, you must have your parents' permission and they must sign and declare here. We'll come on to youth riders later on, but for the initial stage you need to have your parents' permission. If you're over 18, just ignore that. And at the bottom you've got the club or racing organisation that you're going to join in order to go road racing. And that can be your local trials club, it can be your local regional club, or it can be one of the big national organisations like ourselves. The club either signs that or provides you with a unique ACU code. In practice today, it's always the unique code. The race secretary will generally do that for you. So fill out the rest of the form, sign it, make sure that all the declarations are done, and then that's your ACU form done. When you download that, there is also this document, which is the guidance notes that go with it. Effectively, the piece that you're interested in here is page 3, and page 3 tells you what the age and machine restrictions are that will apply to you. In practice, the easiest way to find out what you're allowed to ride is speak to the race organiser that you're going to race with. Because there's all sorts of different classes, they're all slightly different and they've all got different age criteria. But as I said before, if you're an intermediate novice, you're not going to have any restrictions on that. Those notes are just there to help you. Now I said that you will need to join an ACU affiliated racing organisation. ThundersportGB is one of those organisations. If you look on the ACU website, you'll see that there are hundreds of them. There are only 13 active road race organisations. So don't go joining your local club at Great Missenden or Lark Hill or wherever you happen to be in the country thinking that you're going to be able to go racing with them. Check on their website that they actually organise road race meetings and they actually organise them where you want to race. Okay, so you will look at them, and in our instance we provide something like that which lists all the events we do, where they are, is there exclusive testing available, the whole thing. There's lots and lots of different clubs, as I say, 13 different road race clubs. They all have completely different calendars, they all have completely different classes. Have a look and see which one ticks all the boxes for you. A registration form for the club, very simple. Your name, your address, your email details, obviously payment details if you wish to pay by card or by cheque. In practice, this document and the ACU licence form, 99% of the time they're done at the same time and processed by the same race secretary, but that's not necessarily the way it has to be. You can, if you want, join your local trials club for a £5 in order to obtain your ACU licence, but then bear in mind that when you want to go racing at Brands Hatch or Snetterton, Mallory Park or Donington Park, you're going to need to join the organisation that's organising that meeting. So have a little think about what you want to do on that. There's lots and lots of good road race clubs out there. Then you need to have proof of competence. The ACU for the last 9 years now has required proof of competence, and that is a written test and a practical test on the bike, on track. There's 2-part tests, but in practice again, they're generally done on the same day or on consecutive days. In order to book one of those, you just need a booking form like this, and this looks very much like the race entry forms that you're going to get used to filling out when you want to go racing. It just asks you who you are, what your machine is, needs to be a racing machine, not a road bike, all of your normal details and your declaration on the bottom, and you can then book in and get your CTC course and your basic rider assessment done. You can do them separately or together. Generally speaking, it's best to get them done together. When you've done those courses, you'll get 2 certificates, one like that for your classroom session and one like that for your track training session. For 2016, the ACU are looking at combining those 2 so you get one document that's a 2-part document. When you've got that, that goes with your ACU licence form and goes off to the ACU. Now a lot of that sounds like a lot of different stages of doing your ACU licence. All of those things have got a cost, so let's just talk about what kind of cost you're into at this stage. Your ACU licence has a cost of £48 at the moment. For 2016 it's going to be £50. That generally gets ratcheted up about £1 a year. This year it's just catching up because the ACU missed out a year. So if we say £50 for your ACU licence form, registering with a club, that can be anything from £5 to about £60. With Club Thundersport it's £50 to register, so you've got £50 here, £50 here. To do your ACU CTC course, the ACU nominated fee for that is £30, and a basic rider assessment, they're available up and down the country. They consist of 3 track training sessions and 1 practice race start. Generally speaking, they're priced at about £90 to £95. So by the time you've got into all of this here, and an eyesight report which is about £20 from Specsavers or Boots or whoever, you're looking at a total cost now to get ready to go racing of about £250. Okay, so we've now looked at all of those forms on screen. They don't look as frightening anymore. So let's just recap that. The whole lot there is all about 250 quid's worth. Your £50 for your ACU licence, your £50 to register, your £20 to do your eyesight report at Specsavers, Boots or whoever, your £30 for your classroom assessment, and your £95 worth for your on-track assessment. All done, all packaged up nicely. The really good news is that before the race season starts, as a little leg up to people who are going to start racing for the first time, we try and make all of that very simple. We do that whole thing as a one-stop shop for a cost of £120 for everything on the table, plus your £50 for your ACU road race licence. So £170 total cost for 250 quid's worth of stuff. Walk in at the start of the day as an ordinary road bike rider, walk out at the end of the day and you are a motorcycle road racer ready to get out there and take part in your first ever race. How good can that be?